everybody. Welcome to HBC Original. I'm one of your hosts, VB, JL Williams, and Muddy Mike, and this is the Spotlight Hour. To get started, we want to just, if anyone wants to donate or sponsor,
donate to the HBCU Original cause. Help out our broadcast to continue to get out quality info to the viewers.
So listen, we're going to jump straight into it. Kamala Harris. What are you doing? Kamala Harris. Somebody's on echo over there. But we're going to start off the conversation. We'll jump right into it. Last night in Atlanta, Georgia, Kamala Harris with the Divine Nine, and along with others, Megan Thee Stallion and Quavo, who were some of the personnel that she brought out on stage. And we just want to get the general, viewers, your opinion. What are your thoughts on that? Will everybody introduce themselves real quick? Anybody can
Hey, good day, everybody, everywhere. How you doing? My name is JL Williams. I'm excited to be here. We want to discuss this, and I guess we'll pass the mic on to different people that want to chime in. So yeah, that's me. So,
hey, listen, man, I'm just gonna get right to it, man. I was truly irritated. I was kind of irritated by last night. I mean, straight up. I think it's a slap in the face of African Americans over and over again. I mean, the personnel. I mean, bringing out Megan Thee Stallion and Quavo, whose lyrics don't even reflect the message she was trying to portray. Hit a nerve for me.
I think not to cut you off, but I think that she is trying to make a connection with obviously the African American audience, or the younger audience. That demographic she might be trying to make a connection with to try and to get votes for the upcoming election. Whether or not that's and this is the extent that they will do things in order to try and amplify the position that they're trying to partake, which is the presidency. That's what she's trying to do. Mm-hmm. Of course, she may be being steered by somebody else. Somebody else might be behind that, in addition to what she's come up with on her own in order to try and get these votes, because that's what they do. I mean, these parties, whether it be Democrat or Republican, it seems like the obsession is with trying to get these young black folks or anybody that's willing to participate so they can trump up these votes and get into office. And then after they get into office, it ain't really nothing they're going to do for us too much anyway. But the objective is to try to make it look like, this is what you're doing. This is trying to show us our power, so to speak. And then by the time they get into office, there really is not that much, power that we actually wield, so to speak, as a group.
Hey, Money Mike, what you think, man? Sorry, man. I mean, honestly, I hear you, Gil. But Quavo, was he the right individual? Being that he's been involved in gun violence, just got one of his trios murdered, and I'm not saying he did, but he was involved, so to speak. Was he the right person? What are your guys' thoughts?
I don't know if he was the right person. Mm-hmm. But again, my point is, I think that the reason behind it is to try and make a connection with the demographic who they think is going to help to put them over the top. See, these are like undecided type of voters. People don't know which way to go. Or should I vote for Trump? Or should I vote for Kamala Harris? They don't know which way to go. And so this is a little bit of, sugar on the bun, so to speak, to try and sway people in that direction, because all they're worried about, these parties, they're just worried about the vote. They don't care how they get it. They just want the vote.
Mm.
Now, whether or not Quavo, and definitely not Megan Thee Stallion, she shouldn't even
Yeah,
grace the stage with her message
I was like,
because she's just out there. She's really out there, you
yeah,
know. But
man.
they put these people in front of us as if they're some type of leader or as if they have a voice for our community or for a specific type of different demographic. And it's not really the necessarily right thing to do, but it's what they're doing, and they can get away with it unless we have conversations like this. Until we start having conversations like this, and we start to kind of like, you know, advocate for something different, we're gonna get what they put out in front of us, and ain't nobody gonna say nothing, and they gonna keep doing the same thing.
Well, you know, I beg to differ. I definitely want to say something. I just was like, you know, it almost was like a slap in the face. I think of African Americans. I mean, you could have brought on a teacher, I don't know, professor or somebody, Eric Hutt maybe. I mean, somebody else, man.
So it's no different when you get you know, it's all advertising, it's all you know, trying to get the attention of a certain audience. Why do they put black stars in white movies? You know, to make sure that the black folk look at the movie. It's not so much that they're interested in us getting the message. So, you know, Gen Z is really on the fence. These are, a lot of them are first-time voters. These are highly impressionable people. They are moved by entertainment. Their level of political awareness is limited, and they're more, you know, the sad reality is they're driven by popularity. Popularity is music, movies, you know, and other things. So to get in that arena, you know, you almost have to, and it's not one party, both parties do it. You know, it's obvious that it's the vote that they're eventually after. But
Yeah.
just to get the young people's attention, you almost got to entertain them, and that's sad but true.
Mm.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, we living in that generation, man, where you got what they call edutainment,
Oh wow, I like
right?
that term. That's
And
a new
so
word. I like that.
you gotta, in order to catch this fish that we dealing with now, you really gotta stimulate their mindset in order for them to show interest in anything. I mean, you know, it's happening in schools and all that kind of stuff. They're using different methods in order to get the attention of these children. God, remember, our kids have very, 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 did I say very, very short, very short, you know, spans of attention where you can actually get to them and get a message in, and your message has to hit. You got to hit it. You got to listen. You got to do like James Brown. You got to hit it and quit it. You know what I mean? You got.
Let me ask you a question, John. Is in your household you have 2 college students? I mean,
Yeah.
and,
Oh, but they're a different breed. You got to understand. Their mom is a doctor.
But let me ask you a
And
question.
their father is an entrepreneur, you know, coach and all personal development, all that. They got a whole lot of different stuff that they've been exposed to. They've been bombarded with positivity, positive messages. I mean, this happens in my house daily. A lot of these kids don't have that. And so if you're trying to appeal to this population, hey, you got to appeal to the natives. And the natives like to listen to Megan Thee Stallion and Three Amigos. They like that. And so if it's nothing else but to get your attention so I can give you what I really want, like my brother was saying, you got to give them what they really want, then I got to appeal to your intellect. And if your intellect is entertainment, then I got to appeal to that in order to get your attention for what we got to do right here.
Money Mike, what you think on that?
Who, me? You talking to me? I think it's horse.
You on double, Mike?
I think it insults Black people, Black Americans' intelligence. Okay,
Insults.
because what you do, okay, when it comes to us, to African Americans, we got to dummy it down. Okay, we got to do something that you're trying to represent. And guys, let's get it right. Let's get it right. I'm conservative. Okay, so let's just get it to what it is. Okay, but I think it's an insult because what you do, okay, is no substance. There's no credibility to it. What you're saying is, and I remember Don speaking on it. He was talking about, well, you know, as African Americans, we vote for an image. We vote for a popularity contest. There's no substance. Okay. And the thing, you know, my daughter goes to Shaw U. Okay. And that's how I got associated in HBCU, and I'm in California. Here's the deal. Kamala Harris, I understand you're an alumni of Howard and you got Spelman, but you're going to travel all the other HBCUs like you've been right there with them the whole time. You ain't been there. Yeah. Okay. And this deal with Biden promising 100 million, 50, then it goes down to 2 million. Everything the Democrats promised never happened. Okay. And I just wonder, why is that? That's where I'm at. Because when it comes to us, we're going to make it, oh, this is what they like. This is what I have to do. And that's Kamala Harris. Okay, who was presenting that instead of getting an intelligent African American on there, okay, somebody with PhDs, master's degrees, and let's talk to the people about voting. You go to that, okay? I don't get the concept.
Yeah, I do think that she is utilizing the HBCUs. She has not really been a presence in the last 4 years as vice president, but she was in DC. Not that I know of, and I talked to a lot of people who are on different campuses, so haven't really seen her face on the campuses. You are correct, Mike. And then I think we are being used, man. I think we are being used in every single form, fashion, and way. There's a lot of things floating out there that, you know, the migrants, the illegal migrants coming into the country were you know, used for us to be, I guess, overtaken on the polls, you know, giving them votes and letting them vote kind of in our place, the ones who were, you know, swayed. You know, there's a lot of different rumors out there, so I don't know if they're all true, but what I can say is, you know, in the media every day, I don't know, we already have a lot of negativity attached to us. You know, I don't think our kids need to see any more. You know,
well, they can educate the brothers here. I know you can educate them, and I'm asking this seriously. In America today, how can an African American male be a Democrat? I want to know. I really want to know. For your family, okay, for you putting kids in college and getting an education, and you working, tell me how an African American male can be a Democrat. Because the Democrats never speak of us. They never have any programs for us. There's never anything that she's going to stand up and talk to the African American men and say, hey, this is what I'm going to do for the African American. So, and I know I'm on the other side of the fence, okay? But I believe in being conservative on my side of the tracks. I don't integrate. I'm not over there trying to get involved with what they're doing. I'm saying for our side of the tracks, okay? And I know you brothers got a lot of history, okay, in politics. How can an African American male, okay, be a Democrat? That's my question.
Man, it's a good question. How about that, Gil? I mean, I don't even know.
Well, as far as being Democrat or Republican or you know, part of the conservative party as a Republican, if you ask the question, how can a black male be a Democrat? I mean, that just goes back to the historical situation. I would take it back as far as when black people got the right to vote. And I think initially it might have been more on the conservative side initially, but as time progressed, it became more important to become a part of so-called democracy. So the question that you pose is a very, very good question, and it's difficult to give an answer that would be I would say palatable, so to speak. But I think it's more of a historical type of situation versus bringing forth like a challenging question that could, you know, that could potentially isolate or put somebody on a pedestal, or even make them look like there's no reason for their existence in terms of the question.
Okay.
Everybody chiming in. This is HBCU Original. Listen, we're talking about Kamala Harris and her recent event last night in Atlanta, Georgia, with the Divine Nine, also Quavo and Megan Thee Stallion. You want to know your thoughts? You can chime in on the comment section. Listen, this is the interesting topic. We've been used for years, obviously. They constantly put stars in our face to, like Eric was saying earlier, or actually, I'm not sure. I believe that was Gil, like dangling a carrot in front of us. You know what I mean? And I just think it's like a sucker move, you know, and it's over and over and over and over again. But we're not getting anything done in these communities. You know, they're pitching the same message. You know, utilize. You know, and then all of a sudden now, because she's a AKA, now she's you know, I haven't seen her this much with this much, I guess, presence on the HBCU campus or dealing with the Divine Nines and the sororities. I haven't seen it. I mean, until now. So it's like, you know, you just want to use this for now. I mean, where were you at 4 years ago when you were vice president? Where were you at? We didn't see you.
So my wife is an AKA, which makes it simple, and she's probably a better person to answer that question than either one of us, because she knows the involvement. Political ignorance works on both sides. You hear a lot of propaganda about, you know, all the way back to Barack. What did he do? And a lot of folk who aren't politically educated will buy the lie that he did nothing. The same thing that happened with, you know, the overturning the Roe decision. A lot of women who were affected by that decision are starting to realize now that it was not just an issue of abortion, but it became an issue of women's health. So it didn't just mean that a person who was pregnant with a child couldn't abort the child, but it also included little sub portions of the bill which stated that if a woman had a stillborn baby inside of her, that they couldn't remove the baby, even though it posed a threat to the mother. So, you know, when we start talking about education, there's a on the Democratic Party. And none of the people on this podcast read that. And so when we making statements, it's mostly based on long party lines. I say that this year's election has nothing to do with Democrats and Republicans, but it has everything to do with democracy. And if you don't believe that, the number one, my wife works for Chubb Insurance Company, $91 million went to our ex-president in exchange for a bond to pay off Porter his $200 million lawsuit. If you look at the history of the president, the ex-president, his properties, when they were overvaluated, there was only one bank in the world who would actually lend him money against his property, which was Deutsche Bank, and we know their association with the Russian mafia. It's little things like that that people aren't talking about. And then thirdly, if you saw the statement the other night, which was way more important to me than last night, saying if you vote this year, you won't have to vote again because I'm gonna fix this.
Yeah, I heard that.
That was way more important than what happened. He's headed towards dictatorship, and people don't even see it because his number one idol, Putin, is worth $150 billion, and that's the kind of wealth that appears to our opponent.
Yeah,
it's worth $150 billion. That's, you know, that's money that it's a lot of money. That's money that can change situations and find out how a dictator can be gotten rid of. And he's in power till the end of his death, and he names his predecessor. So we're going to be held hostage politically, which is more important to me than anything else that happened in the last 2 days.
Yeah, we are far from Russia, though. I don't definitely. He doesn't have the power or the networks to do that in America. It would be an impossible task.
What other president do you know that performed an insurrection, which was a military, which was a coup? There was no other president that performed a coup in any other place other than the United States. That move was punishable by death. If he was in the Middle East and did that, he would not be alive today.
But do you think that he can actually? I mean, that's a good topic too. Do you think he can actually? I mean, with today's climate and America is a large country. We have a lot of different, facts that he can actually accomplish that mission in the United States.
the question is he bold enough to? And I believe he is. Does he have right now financially? He's got a taste of power, and he's starting to realize what the presidency means in terms of wealth, in terms of power, world influence. And the ones that he emulate are those who are in communist countries. Why? Because they don't have to answer to no one. They can make decisions, they can make policies. And when you start talking about abolishing the Constitution, and you're talking about how could a black man, and the Constitution is what protected us all these years, that's scary to me.
Okay.
Now, I don't believe the Constitution has protected the black man.
Well, it protected the man, whether you believe it, right?
That's a different statement. Okay, and as far as where you go get the money from, okay, that really doesn't matter to me, because if you start following the money flow, where all this money's coming from for all these campaigns, you might fall over backwards. Okay, you might not be willing to accept that. But I mean, at the end of the day, guys, let's be honest. I mean, we're operating off of a system that was created when in 1930s, and we're utilizing that today in 2024. I mean, how is that possible? I don't get it. And this is the thing that I just continually ask. You know, I mean, I've seen it both ways, and I know who's going to pay for it. And I know African Americans don't realize you're going to pay for all this debt. All this money went out. You look at our food prices and taxes and all that. We're going to pay for this. Okay. And you have to realize.
And part of that is, yeah.
I'm sorry. Go right ahead.
A lot of. Go ahead. I was going to just say that a lot of inflation, if you follow when it really started happening during COVID, when the supply chain was interrupted, and that's when things really got out of hand. And so that was the beginning of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, who can fix the supply chain? Who can fix the supply chain?
We can. U.S. by moving these services, a lot of the production to the U.S. is how you fix that. You know.
Oh, okay. Well,
and there's some.
That's a dream, though. That's a dream. We're not even equipped to do that.
Actually, if you look and see some of the moves, some of the moves have already been made. That certain products are being made in this country that were essential products are being made in this country that traditionally we had to get from China and different parts of Asia. That's a threat to national security.
Mm-hmm. You know, that's a good question, man. How much?
That's a threat to national security. Look, our nuclear enemies are the ones that we're relied on to reduce. There's some other things happening in the world, and if you have any family members who are in the military, there's a lot of talk about China and them actually being aggressive around the world. We're fighting internally, and China has procreated and populated the world. They're in every country now, South America and other places as well. And we're sitting back, interbickering, what's going to happen in this country pertaining to different situations. We need to be united in this country in order to face the forces that are coming down the road. And
it's hard to be united, though.
I believe we're asleep.
It's hard to be united,
does. 9/11 united us when we were under attack. Guess what? It was only one American then. It wasn't Democrat or Republican doing 9/11. It was Americans, because America, as we knew it, was under attack. That's what we came together.
I mean, it's hard to be united as a black man and black woman in the United States, with the Caucasians who don't love you, who don't like you, and continuously degrade us. Continuously, we're being murdered by police. Continuously being demoted. It's a lot of stuff going on. It's internally. We got to solve that first. Racism.
Yeah, but he said another point, Vince, and I that point stuck a needle in me. He talked about the GDP and the GNP, the gross domestic product, and the supply chain, which China controls the supply chain. They got the technology to control all of it. And I don't see what we're manufacturing here in the United States that's going to allow us, to be able to become independent. We are a dependent nation. And at some point, we got to realize that. When are we going to become independent? Because everything we receive is not made in the U.S. So how is that possible? I don't get the statement. We don't make product. We stopped when we moved the manufacturers out of Detroit. You guys remember that? We used to make cars. Every time African Americans got families, cars, neighborhood, and guess what? They pulled out. They went overseas because cheaper labor. Okay, and you got African Americans here, and we ain't working for no $2 or $3 an hour. Okay, so what are we going to manufacture here? Okay, that's what the foolish. Only one.
Well, one of the problems, Mike, you just said, he talking about unity, man. We're not. Listen, I'm not going to be unified with a group of people that don't like me, who hate me, who don't want to see us succeed. It's not a fair playing field. And systematically, we've been like Gil was saying, we've been really pushed, to the brink, man. Well, yeah, and then and let me just be real. We had a conversation before about being patriotic, and as a black man, it is truly hard to be patriotic because of all everything that's happening to us, man. I mean, we have our internal issues, but if we're living in a country where we're oppressed financially, socially, the police, we're talking about, the wealth gap is a huge, it's hard to be, unified, man.
So what does it mean to be patriotic? What does it mean to be patriotic?
Right, and that's a good point. What does it mean to be patriotic in America, as an African American is concerned? That is a great question, a question that I think, like I said before, we think patriotic means military. The average person, you say, I'm patriotic, and they're talking about military. But beyond that, are you really patriotic? Are you willing to die for this country? You say that now.
You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to.
You say that now.
You don't have a choice.
Let me drop you over in the Middle East and see, and then we'll see. Let me drop you over in some of these countries, and we'll see.
No, I get that point. See, here's the deal with 9/11. Here's the deal with 9/11 changed everything. See, they came over here. See, when they come over here, and they're coming over here, and they're getting here, that's when you see the patriotic happen. That's when you say, okay, 9/11, it don't care what color you are. Okay, we being attacked. Okay, and that's when you see it, because I got a whole family that's been in the military. They've served, they've been in war, and they've all told me when the bombs start dropping, color don't matter. Don't matter what gender, transgender, doesn't matter. Okay,
and that's cool, Mike. But the problem is, in America, it never has dropped. We've never been bombarded. We've never been infiltrated like that. So, I mean, it sounds good in theory. It sounds good in theory.
Well, here's the difference.
Well, 9/11 was supposed to be the closest thing to it, as far as a bomb being dropped when they ran the airplanes into the building. I guess that was supposed to be a terroristic act against the United States.
Yeah, but it,
and
that was an unfortunate act. It happened.
It was,
a terrible act, and but it still didn't bring us any closer, though. For that short moment, 2 weeks later, cop murdered a black man. So, how much patriotic? You see what I'm saying to you? It's really tough to be patriotic. I think our view of patriotic and their view of patriotic is totally different. You ask the average black person,
you could say,
are you patriotic?
Well,
are you patriotic?
When I talk about patriots, I talk about the U.S. military. I'm talking about the U.S. military. I'm talking about the Navy, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, Marines, the Coast Guard, that protect the country each and every day. Okay, I don't think African Americans realize what it takes to protect this country. I don't think it realizes we're over to Paris to the Olympics, what it takes to protect the athletes who are over there. Okay, you got men and women who have their lives on the line every day for our freedom. Okay, and when you take that lightly, okay, that's because they're out there working every day, and we don't get that chance. We're not the Army, we're not the Navy, we're not the Marines. Okay, we're not the Air Force, and we're not the Coast Guard. Okay, so to look at that lightly, and we all know, and I'll let you brothers speak, but we all know the Republican Party, man, we're about the defense. Conservative. And I wanted to read, because I kept understanding. I said, okay, what is a Republican? What are they doing? Okay, and how are they doing it? And and it talks about how can you not be? It talks about lower taxes, which everybody wants. It talks about guns. Everybody wants to protect themselves. It talks about government conservatism. Okay, it talks about that free market cap, free trade, deregulation, and corporations. So I don't get it, man. I really don't, and it's scary because all the rights that we want as African Americans are Republican rights. So I don't get it.
Okay.
I don't get it.
I think Gil mentioned that earlier about the history. The history of Republicans. I think Gil, what were you saying, Gil, about the history?
I was just saying that in terms of being with either party, and he posed the question. He asked the question. He said something about how could you basically justify being part of the Democratic Party as a black man, and I was saying that's the historical component that you have to look at before you can ask that question or justify asking the question. You have to look at the historical component, and I think you probably have a better answer if you look at what was going on historically, especially with blacks in America or African Americans in America, with us trying to adjust to what was going on with us in the civil fashion, just being able to get rights that you're supposed to have on a day-to-day basis. To become a part of either of those parties is something that you have to question that as well. I don't know if anybody can hear me out there. You can see me.
Yeah,
the communication to the program is slowly falling off piece by piece. I'll wait for somebody to come back on.
Okay, so we're having a little bit of difficulty on that end, but if the question was posed, what does it mean to be patriotic in the country and things of that nature. We were having a discussion also about Kamala Harris. Her last night she was in Atlanta, Georgia, with Megan Thee Stallion. She also had Quavo on the Divine Nine from HBCUs, and we were just having a conversation on that. And we just want to know, what are your thoughts? What are your views on her historic meeting in Atlanta? They said it was 10,000 people there in attendance. She did bring out Quavo and also Megan Thee Stallion. So, people are just chiming in. We just want to get your thoughts on that. So, listen, there'll be more, events. Again, I guess she'll bring out more stars. I mean, there's a lot of different mixed views. Me personally, I just thought maybe that, Quavo and Megan Thee Stallion, I mean, maybe she could have picked a little bit, different entertainers. What are your thoughts, everybody? What are your thoughts? Everybody can chime in. Well, Gil, you were saying, I know you lost a little. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. What were you saying before we? I think you went out for a second.
I was just saying the question is, how could you as a black man part of it?
Still having trouble with Gil. We're still having a little trouble with you. Let me see. I think you're in and out fading.
What about now? Can you hear me now?
I still struggle a little bit, but listen. We just wanted to, once again, if you have any comments, you can put them in the actual message box. Let us know what your thoughts are. We're also going to come back on later on with a live discussion. Later on, you can join us this evening if you'd like to. We're going to talk about some more about, Kamala Harris and on her mission to become United States president. against Donald Trump. We as African Americans, listen, think about who you're choosing. Think about the parties you're affiliating yourself with, and just use your brain. Use your brain. We're not telling you who to pick, but we're just telling you to choose wisely. With everything that's out in the open. And Gil, you still there? I said you came back in. Okay.
Yep. Can you see me?
Yeah, I think came back in this time. You were rocky for a second there, but go ahead.
Yeah. So I guess what I was saying was when the brother made the statement about how could a black man justify being part of the Democratic Party, I was just saying that you can't. It's difficult to answer that question, or it's difficult for him to pose that question without first looking at the historical components that exist around choosing these parties, the conservative Republicans and the liberal Democrats. You know what I'm saying? We got to look at that first before you put that kind of question out there and try and make it look like, these things have no historical background or the history of it doesn't mean anything. That has to be analyzed before you even ask the question. And the thing is, he seemed like he was so gung-ho about being a part of the conservative party when he don't really have a voice as a conservative. You know what I'm saying? Yes. He doesn't really have a voice as a conservative. He doesn't. I mean, the support is not there for us, so to speak, as a conservative. We have no specific voice that speaks to our specific situation here in America. So,
yeah, we really don't, man. Because
you what they say, if you can't beat them, you got to join them. But when you join them, what are you joining, and how does it benefit you to join? You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
What was the brother's name? Because it was JLWILLIAMS, Money Mike.
I think it was Mike that mentioned the comment.
Was that Money Mike?
Yeah.
It wasn't Money Mike. Who was Money Mike?
Oh, it might have been Eric then. If it wasn't
the one that had the earphones on.
Oh, that's Money Mike. Yeah.
That's Money Mike. So the one that was driving in a car like me. Mm-hmm. He what was his name?
John.
John. That's JL. Well,
yeah,
no, not JL. Who was the other guy that was talking about his wife worked for Chubb Insurance?
Oh, that was Eric. So Eric was talking about, I think, what you were discussing just now.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So he dropped off, and JL dropped off, and then I guess Buddy Mike dropped off too.
Yeah, but we had people coming in, coming out. So listen, everybody that's tuning in. Listen, we you're welcome to come back to our discussion again later on. And we're just discussing, like I said, Kamala Harris's historic meeting last night in Atlanta, where she did bring out Quavo, Megan Thee Stallion. We just wanted to know your thoughts, your views. You guys can leave a comment in the comment section. Let us know. Was it foul or fair? I mean, do they represent African Americans, or do they not? And listen, we want to thank you for coming out. Listen, we'll see you later on. If you want to support, check out the app.
Donate to the HBCU original cause. Help out our broadcast to continue to get out quality info to the viewers.